Portugal is one of the most popular holiday destinations in Europe. Great beaches, great leisure activities, including some fantastic golf courses. It's a great place for a drive. This is the final day of the Rally de Portugal. Portugal's Algarve region is the setting for the fourth round of the World Rally Championship, and the opening 2 days have provided some memorable moments. Jari-Matti Latvala led early on the first day until he suffered the biggest accident of his career. Jari and co-driver Mika Antila both walked away from the wreckage of their Ford Focus. Former world champion Marcus Gronholm, who accepted an invite from the event sponsors to make a temporary return to WRC action, was also challenging for honours until he made a mistake in the opening stage of day 2.
I got maybe a little bit too excited. Again, back and fighting to make good times.
Many others have felt the sting of these fast testing stages. Sébastien Ogier retired after breaking his steering in this incident. And Patrick Flodin in the production championship was another to come unstuck big time. But some have mastered these stages, none more so than Sébastien Loeb. He's going for his 4th win out of 4 in the WRC this season, and he will enter the final day with a lead of nearly 30 seconds.
I couldn't do more, and finally the result is really good. We started the day with 18 behind, and we are 26 in front, so it was a perfect day for me.
But he has had to be at his best to gain that advantage. Nico Hirvonen, his main challenger in the Drivers' Championship, held first position at the start of yesterday, but could not hold off the irresistible force of Loeb. It's a big ask for the Finn to overturn that lead, but he will not be throwing in the towel.
With these options I have to try. So we go flat out, and hopefully he's really struggling with the loose gravel, and we can get some time out of him.
This rally's already caught out some of the world's best drivers. There is that chance.
Yeah, there is the chance, but how many times has Sebastian gone off? It's not too many. So I'm not counting on that, but you never know.
Behind the top 2, Danny Sordo is 3rd, Petter Solberg is 4th, while Matthew Wilson and Henning Solberg will go into this final day separated by just 9/10 of a second in the battle for 5th. The Algarve, the location for this event, is in the far south of this nation that stands on the Atlantic coast of Europe. The rally is based in the city of Faro. From here, the cars will head into the final 5 stages of the rally today. And here's some more info on those stages. These last 5 tests total just 80 kilometres. Lulé is the longest at just under 23 kilometres and features a challenging mix of fast and twisty sections. Stage 15 and 17 is shorter but just as spectacular. The event finishes with another run through the impressive Super Special at the Algarve Stadium. Another stunning sunrise marks the dawn of the final day's action in what's been an enthralling rally to Portugal. It's not over yet though, and Sébastien Loeb lines up on the start line of stage 14 with the rally win, again firmly within his grasp. And it's Seb's turn to sweep the top layer of loose gravel clear for the chasing pack. Sébastien still making note adjustments there.
Gauche 120 plus long. Ouvre 130, 100 mètres. Attention, gauche 145 ancienne. Et droite 130 moins long tard.
Oh, that was close. Loeb on the verge of spinning. I've seen a few small errors late on from the Citroën man recently, but again, he got away with that. There There's some very deep gravel early on in Lulé, so there is still plenty of loose stuff around, making the going almost as tough for Hirvonen in stage 14. With a deficit of almost 27 seconds to make up, he has a tough challenge ahead on this final day. Danny Sordo begins the morning almost half a minute behind Hirvonen in third, but with an advantage of over a minute ahead of Petter Solberg, there is little pressure on the Spaniard. Petter Solberg is up next and clearly enjoying himself in Portugal. The Norwegian has put in a string of fine performances since he rejoined the championship at his home event in Norway. One of his bonnet pins is broken though, which causes him to ease off for fear of the bonnet flying up completely.
Keep right to the crest.
Back with Loeb, and judging from the Citroën driver's pace here, there is little sign of his road position hampering his progress. Flying past the banks of spectators here, it's another terrific time for the world champion in stage 14. And again, some stunning views of the Portuguese countryside here.
That's a good start. I was a bit quicker on the start, then he came back, he was one in front, then I was four in front, and now it's... But okay, I'm driving well, no mistake. One moment in the start, in the fast section, I went completely sideways and nearly to have a spin, and finally it was okay, so pushing hard.
Loeb relieved to get away with his scare early in that stage then, but Hirvonen has had his own problems. A stall midway through the test doesn't help his hopes of challenging for the lead. He finishes stage 14, 1.5 seconds slower than the leader.
Lots of dust with the sun in the end of the stage, so we had to slow down in a few places. So we couldn't attack properly.
One driver who is under real pressure on this final day is Matt Wilson. The Stobart 4-man begins the final morning just 9/10 of a second ahead of his teammate Henning Solberg. The Norwegians' hopes of challenging for the position, though, are over before they've even begun. A windscreen demister problem forces him to stop to allow it to clear, and he loses almost 40 seconds. Hirvonen's hopes of a late charge for glory slip further away then. Loeb now 28.3 seconds ahead. Wilson can relax a bit following Henning's problems, but behind them, Mads Osberg has made it back past Evgeny Novikov. There are 4 more stages to run on the final day. We'll return to the action in Portugal after the break. Welcome back to the Vodafone Rally to Portugal, where Sebastian Loeb leads by a margin of 28.3 seconds. Time is running out for Mikko Hirvonen to respond. On to stage 15 then, slightly shorter than the previous one, but with the same flowing, undulating roads we've become used to this weekend. Hirvonen may already be shocked into submission after being beaten on the day's opening test, despite running behind the leader on the road. No matter what the Finnish star comes up with, Loeb seems to have an answer to everything. And the championship leader tightens his grip on his 51st career victory with yet another fastest time on stage 15. Quicker on this occasion by almost 3 seconds. So much for road sweeping today. Petter Solberg has put in a string of fine performances since he rejoined the championship at his home event back in Norway. A second pin has broken though at the front of the car, and the loose bonnet proves a big distraction again.
Line to 6 left minus long tightens, 3
The
plus.
stage is cleared though, with a 5th fastest time.
The bonnet after the first stage, you know, it's the bolt on the right side was went out, and now the bonnet on the left side went open. So the bonnet was over high up, you know, so I couldn't see a damn. Very careful because I was afraid that the bonnet should come up and lose a lot, but it's okay. Just trying to keep it steady anyway, no risk.
Evgeny Novikov's fight with Mads Osberg has continued. The Russian slipped behind Mads to 8th on stage 14, so he's attacking hard to regain the position on this test.
Negative. Right, 0, attention, crest immediate, left 0, very short.
Oh!
Something with the wheel. Something broke?
Yeah, wheel broken.
See if you can drive.
No, the wheel is...
All right.
Novikov convinced it was a broken wheel then, which would explain his inability to turn at this left-hander looking back at the replay. But whatever the reason, that's the end of his rally now. The car flew well off the road, and this is certainly proving one of the most brutal events we've seen in recent times. Osberg will be relieved to hear that Novikov is out of action, and with 7th position now looking safe, the young Norwegian could now secure his first points finish of the season. And Conrad Rautenbach could make it a second top 8 finish in a row. The Zimbabwean has replaced his teammate Novikov in the final point-scoring place. Plenty going on further back then, but there is little change at the head of the field. Loeb's lead now up to 31.1 seconds, with Hirvonen second, followed by Sordo and Petter Solberg. Sebastian Loeb arrives back at service, and he knows the job is almost done. He's even found time to catch up on some F1 action from Malaysia. The Frenchman clearly as relaxed as ever, with just 3 stages remaining, and enjoying the reception from the Portuguese fans.
It's a great atmosphere, not only here, everywhere in the stages, in the service park. It's a lot of rally fun, and it's a nice place to come.
Loeb is currently setting the standard in the WRC, but some of the championship's younger talent have been making their mark in the top 8 this weekend.
Matthew, it's a great start to the season and looking good for 4-point scoring finishes out of 4.
Yeah, it's looking good. We had a bit of a fight on our hands this morning against Henning, but we managed to take quite a big chunk out of him this morning. I think he had a couple of problems with visibility, but apart from that, it's been a really good rally for us, and like sort of quick out of the blocks as well on Friday, which is what we wanted to do. So, no, really good, really good.
Matt, how's Rally Portugal been for you?
Well, it's been a good rally actually. We had the problems the first day with the brakes on the car, and we had to do the first half of first day with no rear brakes. But after that, the cars worked fine, and we just worked inside the car to go quicker. And now we are getting there. So I'm quite happy.
Last year was about gaining experience in that, and this year we want to try and improve the pace and be more consistent in that, and it's starting to come right. We changed a few things with the notes and the co-driver, and I know I've got more experience now. I know what to expect from the car and from the rally, and it's getting there slowly. I think I always want to go quicker and faster and improve quicker, but it's sometimes if you try and improve too quickly, you go backwards.
And Rally Portugal is also the first event for the Pirelli Star Driver programme, a new initiative to unearth the next generation of WRC talent. The programme is backed by the FIA, and after a rigorous selection process, the 5 most promising drivers will compete in 6 rounds of the championship. All 5 will drive identical Mitsubishi Evo 10s. It was Finnish driver Jarkko Nakara who took the early advantage before breaking his suspension and handing the role of leading Pirelli Star Driver to 28-year-old Mark Tapper. The New Zealander was the fastest on Saturday, but broken power steering on stage 9 would end his good run. With the other Mitsubishis of Martin Semmerad and Nikos Thomas failing to finish at the end of day 2, only South African John Williams remained unscathed. special, but Thomas restarted today under the Super Rally rules and all made it to the finish line, with Williams remaining as the front runner, coming home in 22nd position overall in the rally, a dream start for the 26-year-old. So here we go then, the final two proper stages of the rally and the last chance for Mikko to make a late charge for his first win of the season. Unfortunately for Hirvonen though, it will take a serious lapse of concentration for Loeb to relinquish his half-a-minute advantage, not something the Frenchman does on a regular basis. And he looks completely in control through this section. Some tremendous views from our eye in the sky again here. You get a real sense how fast and flowing these stages are. Mikko starts well on the second run through Lule, with Loeb easing off a little. Hirvonen sets his first fastest time since Friday and makes up almost 5 seconds on the leader. We heard from Matt Wilson earlier, and his 5th place looks reasonably secure, with his teammate Henning Solberg losing time on the previous test.
Max right.
He comes into stage 16, almost 42 seconds ahead.
Left 40, right 2 minus long.
Henning's frustrating windscreen to Mister problem has not been an issue on this second run through Lule, but he's been a bit ragged at times in here, and once again he's slower than Wilson. It looks like he may have to settle for 6th. Just under 50 seconds behind Henning is his young compatriot Mads Osberg. He now has just one long stage at a super special to survive to become the first Subaru driver to score points in 2009. After 16 of 18 stages then, Loeb's lead stands at 26.4 seconds. There's little change in the top 8, with Henning Solberg now more than 42 seconds behind Matt Wilson in 6th. So Loeb is just 2 stages away from continuing his winning run. We'll be back after this break. Welcome back to Portugal, where the fans are waiting for stage 17, the final long stage before a run through the Algarve Stadium Super Special. Sebastian Loeb is just 18.5 kilometres from continuing his devastating winning run. He's practically rewriting the record books with every passing rally. Citroën Junior driver Conrad Rauterbach is running in 8th, coming into the final gravel stage. But after his dramatic start to the rally, it ends just as badly, with the Zimbabwean's weekend coming to a fiery end. His hopes of a second consecutive points finish now up in smoke, along with our onboard cameras, as his C4 is literally burnt to a cinder. Matt Wilson is on course to claim his second consecutive top 5 finish. Oh! No! But a late off for the Brit. That's actually Matthew's first ever full roll in the World Championship. It's a devastating end to their event after such a good run.
You alright? Yeah.
The late retirements for Rauterbach and Wilson see a promotion into the top 8 for a lucky pair of drivers. Khalid Al-Qasimi should continue his run of finishing in the points by moving up to 8th. And on the eve of his home event in Argentina, Federico Villagra has jumped up to 7th, a terrific result on his Portugal debut. Mads Osberg has recovered well from day 1 brake problems to fight his way up to 6th place, his best ever result in the WRC. Henning Solberg also had his own problems this weekend, but after leading a WRC rally for the first ever time after the Super Special on Thursday, he continues his best start to a season with a 5th place finish. While Petter Solberg will be delighted with another top 4 spot.
Into 2 left,
Once again in his 3-year-old Citroën Zara, the former world champion is the best of the rest behind the Works Fords and Citroëns. Sordo has long since given up any hope of catching Hirvonen, so it will be a safety-first approach on these final stages as he seeks to secure his 2nd podium finish of the season. But there is some late drama for Loeb in here. The first split time indicates the Frenchman has lost more than 14 seconds, so a possible late opportunity for the chasing Hirvonen. There's no sign of any damage on his car, so what on earth happened there?
Sebastian, the last split I have, you're 16.9 slower than Mikko. What's happening?
It's a wrong split. I had 14 slower than Mikko after 5 kilometers, and I had no mistake and good drive. So I think it's a mistake somewhere.
Frustratingly for Hirvonen, it appears it was just a timing glitch, but still running in the stage, the Finn may not yet be aware of this and is still attacking hard in the hope that the leader has slipped up. It's another fastest time for Mikko to finish the penultimate stage, but he was actually only 2.4 seconds quicker than Loeb. His hopes of a victory now all but extinguished.
We had a split time came through on the computer that you were 14 quicker than Sebastian. We were thinking it could be game on.
It must be a wrong split. I got the same split and I started to attack straight away, but must have been wrong. He couldn't be gaining 14 seconds in the last split, so shame.
Loeb is 24 seconds ahead of Hirvonen then as they head back to the impressive Super Special at the Algarve Stadium. Thousands of spectators have again packed in, enjoying the sunshine and another spectacular display of car control from the WRC's finest. Petter is clearly happy with his fourth place finish. And Loeb's 51st victory is now surely just a formality as he runs a victory lap around the tight confines of this 2.2-kilometre circuit. It's Mikko Hirvonen's 8th runner-up spot since he became Ford's #1, but once again he's been beaten by the most successful driver in the sport's history. Citroën boss Olivier Canel is watching on, and the fanatical Portuguese fans appreciate they are witnessing a genius who at the moment is looking practically unbeatable. The familiar handshake from Loeb and Daniel Elena, and the Citroën team are delighted. It's win number 51 in the bag. Another tremendous display of driving from Loeb sees him claim victory by a margin of 24.3 seconds. Hirvonen settles for another second spot with Sordo third and Petter Solberg fourth. Further back, the late retirements for Wilson and Rautenbach see Federico Valagra and Khalid Al-Qasimi claim the final points places.
A great victory. Difficult start in the rally. The first day was tough for me. We've done a mistake in the first stage. Then I expected to come back in the afternoon and I couldn't do it. So on Saturday it was no tactic on Friday evening from Ford, and so on Saturday we were third on the road and we were able to close the gap and to take the lead. Then we decided also not to play in tactic for the last day, and today it was okay. So for me it was really a perfect weekend.
Malcolm, it's been a very tough event, but where do you go from here? Because the manufacturers is slipping away.
Yeah, there's no question. It's a big margin, and as you say, we're now a third of the way through the championship, but it's not over yet. And Sebastian's having a fantastic run. I mean, okay, there's no question he's an incredible driver, but the one thing that we have got is the two drivers who can actually challenge them, and I really believe that if we can get both drivers performing, then we know that we can put pressure on Sebastian, and that's really when the mistakes come. But as I say, when you lose one car, you're not in the position to do that.
With 4 wins out of 4 for Loeb, then it's a testament to Hirvonen's own consistency that he's only 10 points behind in the championship race. Sordo consolidates his third spot, and Petter Solberg moves ahead of his brother Henning by virtue of his podium finish in Cyprus. Another fantastic weekend for Citroën, and another big mistake for Jari-Matti Latvala sees Citroën extend their lead in the manufacturer's title race to 24 points. Stobart VK Ford remain third. The Abu Dhabi Spirit of the Rally Award for this event goes to home hero Armindo Araújo, who's claimed his first PWRC victory on home soil. A fine weekend for the Portuguese star. Round 5 sees us travel to one of the classic events in the World Championship, Rally Argentina. You can see a preview at WRC.com. Also on the website, you can vote for the most spectacular crash from the World Rally archives. Loeb and Elena are once again enjoying their moment in the sun on the Finnish podium, with their unbeaten run now stretching to 5 rallies. Ominously for his rivals, he's also won the last 4 Rally Argentinas. It's been one of the most dramatic rallies of recent times, with Portugal certainly coming back with a bang. Join us again in Argentina in a few weeks' time, but until then, it's goodbye.